Today is Friday, February 11th. Friday, February 11th. Big Friday, or I guess Big Friday-esque, because there's still not like the full competition lift, but where am I going with this? Started off with snatch, deadlift plus hang snatch, 2 reps of the deadlift to really focus on the positioning aspect and making sure that I'm in the right position right off the ground, and then hang snatch as opposed to hang power snatch because it's just a little bit closer to, I guess, the competition lift. I'm actually supposed to do 3 reps of 2+1, if that makes any sense. But last week I just did 1 rep of 2+1, and then I did that also for this week, not realizing that what's written on the program is 3 reps of that. And so what I go through here once in one set, I'm supposed to do 3 times, which I don't do. But it's fine, I think. The 2 reps plus 1, or the 2 deadlifts plus the 1 hang snatch was actually in and of itself already pretty tiring. Like if I did 2 more rounds of those, I feel like I'd just be super out of breath, which I guess is kind of the point. But anyways, yeah, I just end up doing 1 round through. And yeah, I'm honestly really happy with today. I think I had some reps. I'm really figuring out like a consistent way to set up to get myself in a solid position, and I had some really good reps, both the positioning aspect and the deadlift, and then the actual hang snatch. One thing that Aaron commented in terms of the snatch technique is to focus a little bit more on pulling up with my elbows, to not let the bar get too far away from me. And in the hang snatch portion, that was like sort of my main focus. And I think it worked out pretty well. I think they look a lot better than they did than the hang power snatches did on Monday. But yeah, some solid reps in. I think this one was like my favorite set. I think this one was the best one. One thing I'm thinking about in the hang snatch is the timing of like when to push up. Like one person who times it perfectly is like Nathan Damron. Like he starts pushing up on the weight as soon as it sort of hangs at the very top, like at the very top, at like the apex of the bar path. And since for a moment it sort of just hangs at that position, theoretically, if you're able to like support the weight right at that moment, it should feel weightless because there's no sort of downward force on it yet. And I have a tendency to like be a little late with that timing, and sort of like start pushing on it when I'm already sort of moving down and the weight is already moving down. So that's why I was sort of focusing on the timing there. I think that in that aspect, I did pretty well too. Moved on to clean deadlift. Clean deadlift plus hang power clean plus push press. Clean deadlift is there for the same reason as the snatch deadlift. These are hang power cleans as opposed to hang cleans. I mentioned this in the Wednesday video, but the reason for that is because the bottom of the clean position is one that might pose some danger in terms of re-aggravation, the risk being very low but non-zero. So that's why it's a power clean. And then push press is there just to add a little bit of variation from the push jerk on Wednesday. So there's a reason for all 3 of those things. This one too, I was supposed to do 3 reps of 2+1+1, but I don't know how to read, and I realized afterwards, so I'm just doing 1 round each. But yeah, clean deadlifts are also pretty solid. I think with clean deadlifts, like because I'm starting in a position higher, just by nature of having my arms closer, I think one thing I had been doing in the previous week that I guess I didn't film a ton of is it allows me to be a little overextended, like have my lower back extended more than I think it needs to, which I think causes there to be a tiny little shift when I get off of the ground or break the ground. And I think that is an aspect that I noticed from last week, and I was trying to focus on here with these clean deadlifts. And I think I do a pretty good job. I've been doing these core rehab exercises, and I'm trying to sort of brace in the way that I do for those exercises here, instead of purely thinking about, okay, let's get my lower back as extended as possible. Because that's sometimes the mindset I end up getting in, because if I don't think that, then I'll be in flexion. And so now I'm sort of trying to move away from that to just thinking like, okay, let's get extension to the degree that it needs to be at, no more, and then really focus on just getting a solid brace and keeping my core tight, because that's what's going to prevent that sort of shifting from when I break the ground. But yeah, that was sort of the focus of the clean deadlift. And then the hang power clean is honestly, like, I feel like is pretty like muscle memory. But I am still thinking about, like, I think the main thing here I'm thinking about is the elbows, making sure they go up, back, and then through. And I think in that aspect, it was pretty good. This weight feels very easy. Obviously, it's very light compared to my 1 rep max, but in terms of percentage, but still feels good to, like, because 135 is when it gets to a weight that's like not negligible. Like maybe 95 is like negligible, but 135 is when I think it starts to be non-negligible, like it's actual weight that I'm moving. And given that, like, it feels really light, really easy, which is very good. And then with the push presses, thinking about the same thing with the push jerk, making sure my core is tight, like it is for the clean deadlift off the ground. And then I start with the angle of my torso being neutral, instead of back. And here I accidentally do a push jerk. And so I just sort of reset and then do the push press instead. And then I moved on to front squats. And so, like I mentioned in this video and in the Wednesday video, the front squat is sort of what caused the re-aggravation of the injury the most recently. And so here I really need to be careful. And so I'm thinking about this similar thing as I do for the back squat, like making sure I'm keeping my knees out as I push up out of the hole so that the weight doesn't go to my lower back. And also this idea that Aaron has explained to me before about imagining like a bungee cord attached from your elbow to your thoracic spine, and trying to keep that bungee as taut as possible for the duration of the lift, which basically just means making sure that like your thoracic spine is extended and that like you're not sort of rounding over, because that is what's going to cause the flexion of the lower back. And so with those in mind, I'm doing sets of 4, and last week I started off like really light, like honestly probably like lighter than I need to. I guess that's not the right way to frame it. It's like here the movement quality is arguably the most important, given that this is the thing that caused the sort of re-aggravation. And so I started last week at 135. It was really easy, but instead of lasting through, I just made sure that my movement quality was good, and then same for here with 155. And honestly, a 20-pound jump might have even been too much. So I think I might sort of like make it more of a gradient, like, you know, just 10 pounds every week, 165 next week, 175 next week, or like the week after, because there's really just no need to rush. I just want to get back in shape in like the safest way possible without dealing with some sort of unnecessary re-aggravation. And then finished up that and then did some pull-ups. Today was a day where I actually got to film everything that I was doing, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that was all for today.